morning. Today we're going to do a repeat of this, but we're going to get a little bit more of a close-up so you can see what's going on a little closer. This is a rerun of a water flow, rain flow simulation that was conducted 2 days ago. And the soil samples have remained in my garage. They're drying out, but we will rerun the test. We've got things positioned, so hopefully you can see just a little bit better what's going on, and then we'll tell you about that. Again, a short summary: we're going to apply the equivalent of 2 inches of rainfall in about a 7-minute period. And if you've been around Iowa for about 50 years, that is equivalent to the heaviest rainfall rate for that period of time in our recorded weather data. So pretty heavy rainfall. It'll take about 7 minutes for this quart or 2 pounds of water to saturate through this system. So we know how much water we're putting in. We put it in the top container and it runs down onto the soil in a simulated rainfall. Some runs off the top and gets captured in this tub, and some runs through and gets captured in this tub, and then some stays in the soil. So when I'm all done, I know the weight of all of these components, included this assembly of soil and screen and what I call the sleeve. I know the weight of all of these going in, and I know how much water is here. So I'm able to assess where the water ended up in these samples. And the whole concept here is how well are we managing the rainfall that is a gift from God onto our soil, and how well is our soil or your soil responding to that. So here we go. Oops, got to get the right water. It's all the same, trust me on that one. And there is a slope, a known slope here. So now we're going to start the rainfall, and you can see it happening here, starting to get some runoff. Don't worry about the fact that I start the second one and the third one after the first one. The holes and the pattern in the top tub is exactly the same in all of these. So the measure is where the water goes, and it's not a race, but it's the same amount of water at the same water rate being applied to the samples. So what we have going on here, hopefully this is being recorded, we have very different characteristics. So what you see here is a little rainfall coming off, and here you see a lot of rainfall coming off the soil, and further, it's not particularly clean water coming off the soil. And over here, same thing, not so much water going through, but it's not very clean water. So this, I will explain here in a moment, the difference in water, difference in soil treatments. Water is the same, same amount, same source, same temperature, same everything. Trying to do this fair. Same slope. The slope on this field is controlled by these little buttons that are under the bottom of the tray, which slopes the whole tray. And then the same buttons are used up here. So the rainfall is coming down level, landing on a sloped field. Water's running off, same slope, same process, and that's what we're doing. So if you look closely here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 little places where the water's coming down, and over here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and over here there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And by the way, they are exactly the same holes of the same size in these top trays. So the great effort here is to make everything equivalent And when I present this to people, I say, well, and these samples came from our Equip and Sayre plots that we're doing near Janesville, Iowa. Not a great corn crop this year, but we had a outstanding cover crop growth. And to let the cat out of the bag a little bit, this sample here represents 30-inch corn, conventional practice, if you will. No herbicides applied this year, but really because we had no nitrogen applied in our cold turkey shift to regenerative farming, we really didn't have much weed pressure. But this is a sample taken between 30-inch rows with no cover crop. And our primary experiment at this site is to see how fast we can grow soil health. How quickly can we make the soil healthier? And so this experiment here is really kind of a first indication of the impact of what we are doing. So this plot here is from a 90-inch twin row plot that had a very diverse mix, 14 different varieties in the cover crop. Very successful cover crop. Failure of a corn crop for other reasons. You have to watch my field day videos to understand that if you weren't there. But I have repeated this test several times with pretty much the same results. This is more or less identical to what we had the other day. The rainfall is about done here. We're down to a few drips. So my question is, we got 2 inches of rain. Okay, we got 2 inches of rain here. So how much rain did we send down to the river? And in this case, the river is the Shell Rock River in northeast Iowa, and the plot is about 2,000 feet from the river. So this is what went down the river, and you'll see the rainfall, even this gentle, heavy, but not falling from 30,000 feet, falling from 3 inches. Already we're pulverizing the water, and already it's settling out here. That's how erodible this, and it's a very light sand soil. That's what's going on here. So most of the water, there's very little under it. I will weigh the sample. It will hold some water, but trust me folks, most of the water that we put in ended up heading straight to the river, and the crop here will not benefit from that rainfall. Here, a much greater percentage, I'm going to say over half of the water stayed in the field, and if it ends up in this tray, it just says that it went down into the water table, so it's there for the roots to explore. This is such a shallow plot here. And the important thing is this is just really clean water. So what we're sending to the Shell Rock River is not only a whole lot less water, and if you happen to care about flooding and all those significant emotional events that happen with a heavy rainfall called flooding and all that sort of stuff, can be much reduced with practices such as this. And then this is soil from a spot we call Luberland, really poor soil. We're working on growing it back quickly, and I see I have a visitor here, so I need to terminate this, and that is all.